Typical winter day and now night here in upstate New York. It is cold, it is windy, and there's a chance of snow here in Syracuse. That's why everybody is crowding indoors here at the Carrier Dome to watch what should be one of the best games they'll see in this building this year, as their Orangemen, who have won 10 in a row, take on their first ranked opponent of the season. The Missouri Tigers are number 11. Just the fifth meeting ever between Missouri and a Syracuse, and the first time they have met here at the Carrier Dome. Look at our Star Watch tonight. Two of the premier forwards in America. Very different styles, but equally good results.
Dan Shulman, you're right, but they both have great strength. They attack the rim, and they've got a touch deep. They play unselfishly. Solid performers.
Just a freshman, Carmelo Anthony, leading the Big East in scoring. Ricky Paulding, one of the great athletes in college basketball, and the Orangemen get the opening tap.
And Dan Shulman, Missouri goes. Oh, and wide open. Nobody tagged fourth.
Brett Duaney with the assist.
He did come fourth.
Fourth.
How can you lose him, right?
I know, 7 feet, 250 pounds. How do you miss the biggest guy on the floor?
Now, Quimmer's nice enough to give us some wrinkles. They're going to screen outside was one of them. They're going to dribble and take their man with them on the perimeter and try and go inside. The length of the perimeter is what's tough against this zone by Syracuse.
Now look at the UPS starting lineups. Arthur Johnson, the big man in the middle for Missouri, coming off a 30-point, 15-rebound game against Baylor over the weekend. And Hakeem Warwick for Syracuse, 6'8", 205, one of the most improved players in this league, maybe in the country. Long three-point attempt falls short for Ricky Clemens, a junior college player who is averaging better than 16 points per game for the Tigers.
And you're right about Warwick, by the way. Just a solid year thus far. Great length, a guy that can really attack the rim. But if they settle for jump shots, I think Missouri's going to have a difficult night. They got to go inside to AJ.
Baseline jumper not there for Warwick. Johnson bumping fourth, and the loose ball comes to the Tigers.
Bryant, one of those strong guys, they're trying to seal low, didn't work.
Long arms for Warwick. McNamara leads Duaney a little bit too far. And here is Warwick with a travel. Fourth year at the helm of the Missouri Tigers for the Duke class of '89 graduate Quinn Snyder. He has taken them to the tournament each of the last 3 years, just got himself an extension that'll take him through 2008. And Jim Boeheim, better than 600 wins as the head coach of the Syracuse Orangemen.
Well, you have two different guys. One guy shouldn't drink coffee, the other guy should.
And we'll leave it up to the viewers to decipher who is who. Here is Paulding. He is being covered in that corner by Warwick. Syracuse, of course, starting in the 2-3 zone, and we've got a foul inside. You expect the Orangemen to stay in the zone the whole game tonight?
I do, unless they get behind. But McKinney with a wonderful cut to the gut that set it up. Here the pride, just a nice understanding of when to make your move. And there it is, the diagonal pass, the little small change as McKinney, who's been suffering through that eye injury all year. I guess they're close to letting him take that mask off, aren't they?
Practice without it yesterday. Suffered a broken bone above his eye, a broken sinus in an exhibition game 6 weeks ago, and you can see what he's got to deal with. But the true freshman out of St. Louis, the first inner-city St. Louis kid to sign with Missouri in 30 years, and Quinn Snyder really hoping to tap into that market. A lot of great basketball players come out of there.
Vashon for Vashon High School, of course, Jahidi White, outstanding performer. I think he's a great prospect too. Can drive beautifully, has some range.
Extra pass in the corner, finds Duaney, and has he improved his jump shot over the last couple of years?
And a nice quick chest pass.
McKinney tries to answer. Out of bounds to Missouri.
And before the game, I got a chance to see Jimmy Boeheim in his little office in the back, and he was bemoaning the fact that the inside people weren't guarding well. Well, once in a while, he bemoans life.
Well, that's the guy they have to guard. Big Arthur Johnson, AJ, or Doc, as he's known to his teammates. And you're right, Forth and McNeil have not been doing a good enough job inside, according to Jim Boeheim, and he was all over them after their last game.
And there's that little double that they're trying to do on Anthony. Force him to give it up. Don't let him beat you. Nice penetration.
Clemens speeding down the floor, but another turnover. There's Jerry McNamara. What a job he's done, although he throws it away right there. McNamara, of course, inheriting the starting point guard job because Billy Edelin suspended for 12 games by the NCAA for playing in a recreational league. But Edelin is going to be back Saturday at Pittsburgh. There he is there. in a game that we're going to have on ESPN, and that's just going to make them better and deeper.
Sure, the one thing they're concerned about is conditioning in that game. Here, a little screen gets the open look.
Paulding the miss, and Warwick seems to have his hands on every loose ball here tonight.
Now, not to pick on McNamara, but he threw that ball out last trip with his left hand and get control, make a good chest pass, do what is dictated.
Comes off the screen, 18-foot jumper is there.
Nice use of the bump and a little subtle nuance by Carmelo Anthony.
Boy, did Mike Hopkins have some nice things to say about McNamara before the game.
He did. Well, he knew I was Irish, too. Just trying to be kind to me, but he can shoot the ball. We know he can penetrate, but the ability to set your guy up and then come off that screen. Look at this, little knockdown, little nylon, and plenty of room to convert because of the screen.
Orangeman in the zone, McNamara and Duaney out top. Three right from the top by Clemens. No, Johnson with a rebound. Johnson again, and he's blocked from behind by Warren.
Well, you can see the combination of strength and the length of Syracuse, the strength of Johnson, but they're just pushing one another. Jim Boeheim complaining, a little woofing going on between Johnson and the inside people.
Warwick giving up about 60 pounds in that woofing matchup with Arthur Johnson.
Look at his wingspan on the inbound. You can't see the floor. And unbelievable dunker. Good trap in the corner. Once you go beneath the foul line, they will do that.
Tough look inside. Trayvon Bryant, offensive foul.
And that's one solid defensive play by Forth there. Knew he was a little bit too deep to do anything. And Quinn just coaching his guys right here. Just a little, what do you think? A little extra. I think he did foul him, but
Forth embellished a little bit, but that's part of the trade.
Absolutely. Here's the little stack sequence now. Nice denial. Paulding.
McNamara off to Anthony. Little stutter step. Playing very unselfishly early tonight, but Duaney misses the baseline J.
Well, they're forcing others to beat them.
Look at the speed on Clemens coast to coast.
And then that little hesitation about the foul line to part the waters. Great explosion. He's got some speed.
And they've got some skill in the backcourt with Clemens and McKinney and Paulding on the wing.
Nice denial again. Excellent defense. Of course, he played for one of the premier defenders, Mike Krzyzewski.
Nice little step in by Warwick. Misses the shot. Gets the loose ball.
Pass.
Boy, everything being contested right now. It'll be McNamara stepping inside. Knocks down another two.
Well, when you can shoot, you're going to attract people. The little run out, the closeout, not in control. One step and knock it down.
An impressive start early for Syracuse against a very good team, and Paulding is fouled on the three.
The closeout again, this time by Syracuse, not under control. You've got to skip out or jump stop, and Warwick, Jimmy, a little upset at that particular play. That's not one you want to commit.
Ricky Paulding, who really started stepping things up during the NCAA tournament last year. Remember last year the Tigers had noted scorers like Kareem Rush and Clarence Gilbert who really dominated offensively. This Missouri team is a little more balanced. The ball gets spread around to more players than last year's team.
I would agree. More of a team effort. They relied on knockdown numbers by those two individuals have moved on. And this is one of those guys that has stepped in and been outstanding, Ricky Paulding. I'm just so impressed how he does use screens. We will not see much of it this evening because Syracuse opts for that 2-3.
Paulding getting 3 free throws here after the foul by Warwick. There's not an idle moment for Quinn Snyder over there on that bench.
He does have some energy. Yeah. He and Timmy O'Toole, the Fairfield coach, are great pals, and both of them are high energy. Wind them up, and they go for months.
Paulding ties it up. Good start for him, and a good start for Jerry McNamara, one of the impressive freshmen for Jim Boeheim. Little step in, knocks down his second jumper of the night. And glad to have you back with us inside the Carrier Dome here in Syracuse. Dan Shulman and Bill Raftery with you. You talked about what a big game it is for Syracuse, their first meeting against a ranked opponent. Missouri's only played one, Illinois, and they lost by 15. So really a lot at stake for both teams here. After this, they get right into the heat of conference play.
We'll see both teams come March, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's all about getting better, seeing where you stand. You mentioned Syracuse getting Edelin back. All of a sudden, that's a major factor. How do you play him? Does he start when you come back? And of course, Missouri too. I think good, solid man-to-man early on Carmelo Anthony has helped them. You know, they're even at this point. If he becomes on track, Jim Burr with a little assist here. Best thing he's done in a couple of games.
Carmelo Anthony right now, they're taking the ball out of his hands, and he's not forcing things. The freshman averaging better than 24 points per game. He's already got 8 double-doubles in the first 11 games of the season for the Orangemen. Warwick with a tough jumper. It goes down.
And Johnson is not playing fourth whatsoever. He's a one-man zone back there. Fourth is going to get some offensive rebounds. He may get some passes if they look for him.
Warwick, McNamara, even Duaney can step up offensively for the Orangemen. They're not a one-man team. And there's Warwick, not the strongest guy in the world, but strong enough to do what he needs to do under the basket.
And Johnson's got to finish that one. He had a good look. Turn away from traffic here.
Anthony with an air ball on the turnaround jumper.
Now they can shoot quickly when they freeze you and then take the jumper. Nice dive to the rim by Bryant.
Travel there.
Did you like the play, though?
Oh, beautiful three-way play. Yep. Very unselfish basketball by both teams so far. Now look at what Missouri has done. The only losses we mentioned to the only ranked team they've played, Illinois, in the bragging rights game. Their best start in 8 years. They won at Iowa. A nice win for them. McNamara lines up the three. And the rebound to Missouri. The Tigers, picked by both the coaches and media to finish 4th in the Big 12 behind Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. One of the best and toughest leagues in America.
Well, sure, and the game against Iowa that you mentioned, I thought they played very well, and Steve Alford's doing a great job.
Ricky Clements had a huge game for Missouri, 27 in that win over the Hawkeyes.
A little reach in by Bryant here, one of those small change jobs you don't want. But they're gambling occasionally on a pass to McNamara, and he can make shots. You can't leave him.
Number 2 on Trayvon Bryant. Neither team really deep. Quinn Snyder's only going to use 8 guys. So Bryant goes to the bench with 2 fouls. And Jeffrey Ferguson will check in off the bench. Also Josh Kroenke into the game now for Missouri, a guy who started the first 7 games. Craig Forth has gone out for Syracuse, and Jeremy McNeil has come in. Forth and McNeil will split the minutes in the post for Jim Boeheim pretty evenly.
And thus far, real solid D on Anthony.
Warwick looking for his shot, and a rebound for Johnson.
Got to stop penetration, and McNamara turns him into traffic.
And McNamara might have gotten away with a bit of a reach in right there. Ferguson the miss, and what a follow slam by Arthur Johnson.
And that's because all the attention was under the rim. He used the belly to get in position. You got to stick a guy like that. Even if it is his zone you can't identify, that's one number you got to find. Number 50.
Third tie already. Johnson and Ricky Paulding, friends from Detroit, played at different high schools, became buddies, decided they wanted to play at the same school, and Quinn Snyder said, yeah, I guess I could fit both of you in.
Well, he's a smart guy, a law degree and a master's as well, and he was a little piece of the hand on that jump shot, but you can just see the big body. Look, nobody touches him. It's not hard to locate him. Would you agree, Dan?
I would agree.
With that frame, and if he can dominate on the glass, there are going to be some foul problems plus points for Missouri.
And really the biggest concern that Syracuse had coming into this game was how would they defend Johnson inside. Now Baylor's still wondering. 2 days after his record-setting performance, the best game that he's ever had, Jeremy McNeil, one of the guys Syracuse will use inside, but both Craig Forth and Jeremy McNeil tend to get foul trouble. That may be a concern for the Orangemen tonight.
He's great at shaping up and holding his guy off. Really puts pressure on the inside. Here he is now. He body searches, got to value the ball a little better on the perimeter.
And we'll get a whistle by Bob Renato. It's out of bounds to Syracuse. Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues tonight here on ESPN. Following our game, Hollis Price, Ebby Ara, and the Oklahoma Sooners take on in-state rival Oklahoma State. And Coach Bob Knight of Texas Tech will join Reese Davis and Digger Phelps live at halftime of that game. Then at midnight Eastern, it'll be New Mexico taking on Colorado State. Big Monday presented by Bud Light here on ESPN.
Interesting to see Bob's take on that conference, how tough it is, how deep. I hope Digger gives him a chance to chat.
Yeah. McNamara, look at that, from a freshman.
McNamara's band, huh? Pump fake, get a guy airborne, and knock the shot down. Well, you mentioned Mike Hopkins alluding to him. His toughness, his knowledge, competitiveness, plus he can drill it.
From Scranton, Pennsylvania, apparently gets a couple of bus loads coming up for every game here at the Carrier Dome.
I'm sure there's a few beverages on that bus load. No, my pals on that screen there. That's Carlissimo's old hometown.
That's right. Nice movement around the perimeter, but it does not pay off as Paulding misses the three.
And your point, Dan, on the perimeter, they got to get some touches inside. You can get it in the lane. McNamara
feeling it right now, misses the three. Josh Pace into the game, number 5 for Syracuse, wearing the white headband. Well, sometimes you and I have done so many Syracuse games, a tendency for teams to settle for that three against the Syracuse zone.
Right, it's right up their alley.
Yep. Warwick a little bit slow to get up behind the play for the Orangemen.
Nice play by Pace there. Didn't have anything, pretty good around 15 feet. Not a great deep threat, but just an all-around type of performer.
Yep, fills up the stat sheet, a little bit of everything.
Pretty.
Warwick flies in to try and get the rebound. Now he's got it.
Steps, good call by John Clockerty. Of course, John Clockerty back from an injury. Good to see him back.
Crowd doesn't like the call. John Clockerty, the unpopular man here in the Carrier Dome right now. Orangemen up by a deuce.
First they back him a break. Well, Dan Schulman, we talked about the ability to attack the zone. I think the big concern is getting a touch inside. You may not get a shot, you might get a dive, or you might get a diagonal look. Here's the ball movement. They get it down low, and a good decision right here. Now they force him out. Look at this. You end up with a 18-foot jump shot, toes on the line. Doesn't go down, but that's excellent ball movement. If they could stay on the box on the catch, now you put a lot of pressure on the inside people.
Syracuse up 2 here in the first game of the big Monday triple header presented by Bud Light. Dan Schulman and Bill Raftery with you at the Carrier Dome. Both teams have just edged into conference play. Syracuse with wins over Seton Hall and Boston College. Missouri has defeated Baylor.
Nice lob. It just didn't work, huh?
Yeah, lobbed it to the right guy, but not even Ricky Paulding could come down with that feed from Jimmy McKinney.
He can be electrifying around the rim. A well-designed play on the timeout. And Prim was telling me before the game, the last time they played Syracuse, he questioned the referees on a rule. And he was wrong, and Boeheim said, read the rule book.
Really?
So he said, tell him I read the rule book for tonight.
Anthony looking to get untracked. Leading scorer in the Big East. And Quinn Snyder said, you got to keep the ball away from him, because if he gets the ball, he's going to score.
How about that strength of split defenders, the ensuing turnover, I'm sure in the timeout, Jimmy Boeheim said, I think it's about time now, Carmelo. Don't play for everybody else. Look at this, the blow by. Frankie couldn't even get there coming from the top. This is speed and strength and a baby. He is a rook to boot.
You know, you saw their first game of the season. 5 minutes into their first game of the season, it was like, not that he was the floor leader, but he was the guy everybody else was looking to score the ball.
Well, the players on the team, nice pass to Pace by McNamara.
What a terrific play by Jerry McNamara to set all that up.
The players couldn't believe when they saw him in September at his size what he could do, his maneuverability.
Largest lead of the night for the Orangemen, up by 6.
Settling, not a good one, even though it went down. That's not one of those that gets you back healthy, but why not when you're that talented? Clemens.
Back to 3. Anthony No on the 3. He will shoot it from outside. He'll put it on the floor. He'll post up. If you're just getting a chance to see Carmelo Anthony for the first time, probably the most highly hyped incoming freshman. There's Johnson on a nice feed. Beautiful penetration against the zone that time.
How about that? He made the 3 and then puts it on the floor, and a quick timeout for subs by Mizzou. But breaking the defense, sometimes it's a pass, sometimes it's a dump down to the center spot. Just really understanding what to do and when to do it. Turn the corner and then get yourself square. Great penetration by Clemens. Send it in, big fella. You think he could do that with the other 60 pounds on him? Why not, huh? That's just great. The zone has to address the penetration and then define.
Tomorrow night, Super Tuesday presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car on ESPN features 2 conference matchups. You're going to be at that Michigan State-Purdue game as Tom Izzo tries to get the Spartans untracked. I mean, they've set the bar so high that it's unusual to see them struggling by their standards. Second game, Kentucky to Vanderbilt. How about Vandy knocking off Alabama on the weekend? Choctaw continues all week long. We talked about Bob Knight talking to the guys tonight. Jim Herrick of Georgia will be in the studio tomorrow night. Matt Doherty and Jim Calipari later on in the week.
And you love that Georgia team. McNamara this time starts that whole sequence with his penetration. They got a clean look, the ability to offensive rebound. But the turning of the corner puts such pressure on the interior defense.
You've seen Michigan State a couple of times already. Talk about the Spartans.
I think they're close, and yet they occasionally step back. Maybe it's Tom has alluded during the course of the year to really wanting a leader.
Right.
It might have to be a group leadership function because they don't have the pure point guard. You know, Hill's a talented guy. Anderson's extremely talented. But they are a tough out nevertheless. Gene Katie, you know, they're going to guard. They're a better basketball team. Everybody talks about Dean, but I think their inside people have gotten a lot better.
That ball is going to go over to Missouri. I think the fans might have a case. That looked like it was tipped out of bounds off a Tiger on the air ball by McNamara.
And Jimmy Boeheim chatting with Jim Burr. He's used to getting his way.
Now he's looking at John Clockerty, and Clockerty's pointing at Jim Burr. He said he made the call.
This is Jim Boeheim at lunch. He's always looking for somebody to talk to him.
Clemens, nice step inside, and the floater drops. Missouri leads.
How about his 3 plays now? The 3, the penetration dish, and they get a timeout. Jim Boeheim can't believe that last call. This is more for the official. I mean, they're not going to change it.
Let's take a look at the replay and see if Boeheim's got a case.
Bernie Fine there, a long-time assistant, trying to calm him down. But you know, Jimmy respects these guys. And let's see if the old mentor is right, and he is.
Yeah, should have been Syracuse ball.
How could he see that far? Somebody had to tell him. He doesn't have those kind of eyes.
Well, it's been a good start for the Orangemen, largely at home. This is their 10th home game of the 12 that they've played, and as mentioned, all against unranked competition. They don't play a lot of big-time teams in December. They're going to play a lot of big-time teams in Big East competition. You can see 25 points per game out of conference. But against the likes of Notre Dame and Connecticut and Pittsburgh and Georgetown, the Big East has more upper echelon teams, tougher big-time teams. It might not have as much parity as it's had in the past, but 3 teams in the top 10 right now out of this league. And Syracuse, by the way, they snuck into the AP poll at 25 as of today. In the coaches poll, the ESPN USA Today poll, they're number 26, so they're just on the outside looking in.
Now, this is a good team, and they're going to get better. Of course, with a talent like this, look at the double team. This is the concern, how he handles that.
Wide open, Duaney for 3. Johnson rips down the rebound, and he's already got 6 boards here tonight.
Look at this freeze and then the blow-by. Nice play by Forth. You know, you mentioned Jimmy doesn't like to go away. He's got the family, Julie, the kids. Why should he go on trips? The penetration, we mentioned what great run the last 3 trips that Clemens has had. That time, Forth steps up big.
Right now, Missouri on a 7-0 run, but they can't get the ball in bounds, so Quinn Snyder was forced to burn another timeout.
That's that size on the ball.
Well, while we have a moment, Sean McDonough was supposed to be sitting alongside you here tonight, but we'd like to send our condolences along to Sean and the rest of the McDonough family on the passing of Will McDonough, the great columnist for so many years for the Boston Globe, and also a correspondent on TV for the NFL and many other sports. I'm sure a guy that you got a chance to meet many times over the years.
I'm so impressed with him and his observations, his convictions, and through Sean, I did get to know him and played in his Boys and Girls Club outing in Nantucket and spent some time with him. One of the truly giants in this industry. And Sean, what an impact on Sean's life as well as the rest of the family. So our prayers and best wishes go to them, and Sean in particular. Thanks to ESPN, have had a lot of nice evenings with Sean McDonough. God bless them.
Back in play here as Missouri gets it in, nursing a 1-point lead over the Orangemen. Both teams 10-1 right now.
The down and through and the penetration. You got the bump from the rear. And that's when you don't want to give up.
Last 4 or 5 minutes, Bill, they've done a much better job of getting inside against that Syracuse zone.
You know, it takes you a while to adjust. And, you know, when you first look at this 2-3 zone, it doesn't look on the surface that it's difficult. But the size of the people, it deters entry passes. They're quick enough to generally handle dribble penetration. And they close in the back, not enabling you to dump it low. So some big factors in attacking the zone.
Quinn Snyder told us today the key is don't just stand around on offense. Head fake, ball fake. Do something. Get them to move. Just shake them up a little bit so you can try to beat them to a spot. He said if you just pass the ball around the perimeter, you're not going to get anything done.
But, you know, they exchange people better as well. And that makes it very tough because they cover a lot of ground. They don't have to be right up on the shooter, too, because of the nice look. And here's the double, and they make him pay. That's what makes a great player. Anthony finding, realizing he's got the numbers against him stacked.
By all accounts, as good as he is, and even though he may go pro after one season, a real humble kid, good team player. They all love playing with him, and he will defer to others if that's what will help the Orangemen win a game.
And nice, there's the size by Forth, and then the rundown by Duaney. one of those, oh, I'm sorry, pardon me.
Number 2 on Duane. We'll tell you a little bit more about Carmelo Anthony and some of the other outstanding freshmen who are making such a big impact across the country. Bracy Wright and others will be featured when we come back after this. Welcome back to Syracuse, New York. Dan Schulman and Bill Raftery with you here on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. We are inside the Carrier Dome, where we've got a good one brewing between Missouri and Syracuse, and we've seen some good freshmen already here tonight. Jimmy McKinney, Jerry McNamara, of course, Carmelo Anthony. Better than 24 points per game, but more than any other year in recent memory, Bill. Freshmen are not only playing, they're playing as well as anybody in the country.
Talent all over the country. Guys are leaving early, so they're actually getting an opportunity. But these are guys that I think even if they were seniors would get a lot of minutes. There's like 20 others that we went through. We'll try and sneak a few in later.
Paulding with a miss, another rebound for Warwick. I know you've seen D. Brown at Illinois.
Love him. Yep. A great penetrator, really run his playing partner. Williams, outstanding. Turn Francis down at Notre Dame. Daniel Horton playing great for Michigan as Tommy Emmer gets on a great roll. And how about this? He's got some game, this guy.
I'll tell you, he didn't have that much game last year, though. He has really improved.
Tall drink of water, huh?
He drew comparisons last year to Damone Brown.
Nice lead.
Here's Duane trying to catch up to it, and he can't.
That's thinking score instead of getting the ball. And the other thing, McNamara's got to loop it higher. Now, Michael Hopkins can't be telling anybody about passing. He was a catch and shoot, lock and load guy. Next to him, Troy Weaver.
Troy Weaver getting a lot of the credit for recruiting Carmelo Anthony. Weaver from down in the Baltimore, D.C. area. Anthony is from Baltimore. Loose ball. Warwick's got another steal. Syracuse forces another turnover.
And Anthony was way down the floor, but they couldn't get control quick enough. Nice show on the pick.
Now Clemens got his hands in there and forced a Syracuse turnover.
See, this zone inhibits the one-on-one kind of play. McKinney normally able to maybe beat his guy with the bounce. They don't have anything here.
Duane, too strong on the bank.
Now, even the rebounder was being checked at. They get a break here with a jump ball. And I believe possession arrow. It goes Missouri's way. Now, understanding how to play is so important. Here's the screen. They got McNamara the look. He does a lot of little things playing within himself. The hands here, the correct hand too. So he's not going to foul. And here's that little blow-by, a little kiss at the end as he beats the ensuing trap with some leg speed.
That's his only bucket of the night. 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist for Carmelo Anthony so far. A very quiet night statistically, yet Syracuse still has the lead.
See, now when you just stand here with Johnson now, that's the first. You've got a flash there. If you stand there, they'll play you.
Right.
Now, I would put a great shooter flash into the foul.
So who's your pick a guy on the floor right now? Paulding?
Yeah, Paulding I would put in there. And maybe McKinney. Let them flash and turn, and all of a sudden it's a fast break.
There's a foul on the baseline on Paulding. Don't forget, Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues tonight here on ESPN. A great matchup in the Big 12. Number 5 Oklahoma against number 24 Oklahoma State. The Cowboys have moved into the rankings, and they've got 4 players in double figures. Then Reuben Douglas at 24 points per game leads New Mexico against the Colorado State Rams. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN. Again, at halftime of that Oklahoma State game, Coach Bob Knight will be live with Reese Davis and Digger Phelps.
Douglas can really fill it up, of course, former Arizona player.
Warwick, look at the confidence, Bill, as he looks for his shot.
A little bit of a fade there, tough release.
Clemens, shovel pass, Rocky. And Pace in there for the rebound, and he's fouled. It's like Kevin Young, who has just come into the game. 6'9", a freshman out of Jamaica. Either he or McKinney picked up the foul.
Now they're trying to beat the defense back and get the good look. You got to get somebody on the rim. You can see the difficulty deep for both clubs. Well, you know, Missouri can guard. Quinn, of course, we mentioned his defensive knowledge. Much of it stemming from his day. Not a good look there. Tough angle pass. And, you know, Fourth didn't look particularly agile, but I didn't like the entry either. You got to work, get it to the guy, make it catchable. He's not as mobile. Jim's saying get both hands ready. But anyway, getting back to the defense with Quinn, he used to slap the floor. And we asked him, where did that start? I thought it started with him, and he told you?
Tommy Amaker, right? Gave credit to his elder.
And he said that he may have slapped it harder than Tommy. He said Tommy was down to guard anybody.
He said Tommy could get down lower than he could.
And so can Clemens get down low in the lane and then find somebody. Great penetration by the little guy.
And Young slams it home. So Missouri is back within one here for the Carrier Dome. Nice no-look pass. McNamara wide open for three.
You think they're used to getting doubled? At least Anthony. Great read and analysis that trip.
Other Orangemen are going to have to step up and score here tonight. Clemens misses the three. Rebound Anthony. And a foul underneath.
They get Johnson on the rake after. You know, it's funny now. Clemens is a great. Here's the dilemma, and I never had this problem. You know, when you can do a lot of things on the floor,
yeah.
Clemens can shoot. He can penetrate. So he opts for the jumper there, and Quinn right away got up and said, like, go. You've been blowing by. Be creative in that lane and then get somebody else or finish yourself.
Quinn Snyder's talked about Clemens coming into the junior college ranks, and of course Snyder, a point guard as well. How their relationship is more than just coach and player. They also play the same position, kind of a big brother, little brother relationship as well. And it sounds like Quinn Snyder spends more time with Ricky Clemens than he does with any other player on his team.
Well, that's your extension out there. I mean, that's the dialogue. And you mentioned with Michigan State, for example. You know, Tom Izzo has really quality players, but somebody that can convey exactly what you want is what you're looking for. And it's sometimes tough when it's by committee. But here you got an outstanding performer. Of course, experience too at the College of Southern Idaho. Just understands the game and a talent at beating you with the bounce.
Little team unity as well. Clemens and Paulding and Johnson and Jeffrey Ferguson all shaved their heads last week. I'd be more impressed if Snyder did it, but with that mop, I don't think Quinn's going to shave his head.
No, I don't think his wife would like that. Congratulations on their baby.
Yes.
Christmas Day as well.
Little boy named Owen, first child for the Snyders. Look at this ball movement, but McNamara almost took it away.
There you go.
And McNamara recovers. Boy, he is quick out there.
Great play outside. Well, he's got the pants that come down to his shoe tops, McNamara. He looks like he's going to go out and shoot darts, but he can slide and get in front of people as Quinn calls the foreplay. They like to trap if it goes beneath the baseline. They almost come up with it again.
Yeah, they got lucky right there, the Tigers did. McKinney for three.
Ooh.
Neither one of us thought that ball was going in.
Huh? Good. That came down wet and cold. Well, frozen in this temperature.
McKinney now with 5, and the Tigers have tied it up again.
McKinney's a wow player. I mean, he really can light it up. I think he's going to be a great performer.
McNamara tries to answer. Young holds off his man and picks up the rebound. Well, you can't get on your heels against Ricky Clemens.
He puts you on them,
yeah,
unfortunately.
He does.
Look at him, always prying, good diagonal look. Now you go opposite, now they're in the corner.
They're moving it pretty well.
Wow, look at these challenges.
Yeah. Everybody gets touches, and the wide open look for McKinney. Young with a rebound, and he misses a putback.
Oh, he lost it himself. Gotta finish that. Well, he's had a couple around the rim.
Quinn Snyder rallying the troops. We'll have some Big East news, Hoya style, when we come back. Reese, Digger, thank you very much. Boy, scary to think how many points and rebounds Mike Sweetney might get if he was getting more calls, according to Craig Esherick. And we'll get more on that at halftime. You know, I remember the first time I came to this building, Digger Phelps was coaching the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And they put 33,000 people or something like that into this building. I mean, the game was a rumor from where I was sitting. Elmer Bennett, I think, hit a turnaround at the free throw line. Big upset at the time. Syracuse was a much better team at that point in time. One of the big wins for Digger Phelps.
Well, do you remember the original Irish jig? It was Digger regaling at his victory. He almost missed Boeheim as he hop-step down the floor. But, you know, and Digger's aware of this, too. You're in a league, the same officials, same high-level officials. I don't know if that's going to do you any good. I think you're far better off talking to Mike Tranghese, the commissioner of officials, Artie Highland, looking and saying it. That's me. Because I think officials speak to one another.
Warwick tries to dump it off for McNeil. He's just creating a little space in there.
He did.
Oh, it went in.
Put the head down. The football team could have used that, huh? Nice play by McNamara, almost.
And McKinney has that shot altered by McNeil, and Warwick with another rebound.
Boy, they have missed some chippies. That one by Johnson. Last one by Young. Nice look to Warwick. Don't be in a hurry. The blow-by going left.
This is a more skilled Syracuse team, I think, Bill, than Jim Boeheim's had in a number of years.
The perimeter guys are all skilled. Dwayne not on the floor, one of those guys. The three people up front can really bounce it.
And Billy Edelin coming. He is active as of Saturday when Syracuse takes on Pittsburgh on ESPN. Johnson too strong inside for McNeil.
That's exactly what they should be doing every trip. Give Johnson some catch down there. It'll frustrate Jimmy, but you load up with the big guy, some damage can be done. You get somebody on your back. You see McNeil never taking the proper side, couldn't get in front, should have played the baseline side of it. And here, as you noted, no shoulder pads or helmet, but making some room for himself. And with Johnson around, that's tough to do.
Johnson putting up some big numbers now, 9 points and 8 rebounds already in the first half of this game, keeping Missouri in it. And the teaching continues. Again, it's the defense of the big men that has been the primary concern for Jim Boeheim. Fourth has replaced McNeil. Warwick scoops it up and in.
Unbelievable use of the steps. That's what impresses you when you look at tape. He gets a long distance and doesn't walk. Holds that pivot foot.
Clemens, a long three.
What does that open up the zone, though? I mean, they should be able to get into the foul area readily.
Clemens ties it up. He's got 10. Warwick, by the way, 10 points and 8 rebounds already. Coming off a monster game against BC on the weekend. 24 points and 15 rebounds. Here he goes again, stepping through.
Pretty. That is good. And you know what made that play, though? Carmelo Anthony being doubled in the corner. It got to be a raggy defensive recovery and the slip to the box area. He had been doubled on the other side. Now, the ability to step through. I mean, we mentioned the thin body, but his ability to slither between defenders and take a hit as well. Outstanding improvement in this player.
He has upped his scoring from 6 points per game as a freshman to better than 16 points per game as a sophomore.
Well, you mentioned Edelin coming back. I mean, they've got a little deeper. And I mentioned the ability of all the perimeter people to put it on the floor and yet shoot it.
They can go big, they can go small.
Yeah, there's the nice look. Johnson, I think, could turn on this guy and get to the foul line. Here, they got him. Give it to him. Now turn.
8-footer, yes.
Go. Use the big fella. Ride him.
Fourth couldn't handle him there. 11 points now for Arthur Johnson.
And Jimmy Boeheim was lamenting the inside defense of his zone. Doesn't feel it's up to snuff. Little force here, but get away with it.
Warwick. McNamara. The extra pass by both teams on many occasions tonight. 15-footer for Anthony.
How about the way he broke down? Kroenke first with the jab series. Rocked him, put it on the floor, and then able to convert. Major league move.
Patient tonight. He's now got 6 points to go with 5 rebounds, and they're on their feet here in Syracuse.
Looking to trap out of it. See if they can rush them. Not with Clemens. Look at the last look. They will not rush it with him. You want a chance to tip? I think 5 or under. Too soon.
Holding.
Too
Blocked
soon.
by Fourth.
Too soon, you got to lay up.
Pace.
Oh, my goodness. Now, Kroenke had a very hard foul in the Illinois game. That was a legitimate giveaway by him. Tell you though, guys don't pay attention to the clock, Dan Schulman.
Yeah, you're right. Coming up at halftime, Riesendigger, big man on campus. More on Craig Eschrick and his thoughts on the officiating at recent Georgetown games, and a look at the new top 25, of which Syracuse is still not a member, at least the coaches poll. They are number 26 right now. They got a big week with Missouri here tonight, and then a game at Pittsburgh on ESPN Saturday. They've got a chance to make a real name for themselves if they can come up with a couple of big wins.
Now, is this wacky? Jimmy Boeheim, we always say, he comes in December and they're a real good team. But this team, I think, can get better. They have the ability, and with Edelin coming in, a little more depth for him.
And I remember talking to him in November, expecting him to say, we're young, we need this, we need that. And he said, we're pretty good, we can really score. It's the best class I've had coming in 10 years. He had nothing but good things to say about this team back in November.
Well, it's Julie and Norman Vincent Peale.
A steal by McNamara.
Wow. What a tough play. Quinn holding his head. Momentum swing.
What a turn of events. Missouri could hold for the last shot, missed the shot, committed a foul, threw it away, and McNamara knocks down the jumper.
When you put the ball over your head, you're totally committed. Not a good inbounds that time by Ferguson. And McNamara with a little nylon. You mentioned quick. He gets in passing lane. Silent play.
A real crowd favorite, shows us why here in Syracuse. Orangemen by 5. Back to the studio. Here's Reese Davis. Halftime here at the Carrier Dome. Big Monday presented by Bud Light finds the unranked Orangemen leading the number 11 Missouri Tigers by 5 at the break. Order ESPN Full Court now and you can see up to 30 college basketball games each week. Watch your favorite team or conference no matter where you live, plus get coverage of the Women's NCAA Tournament. To order, call your local cable operator, DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV or Dish Network at 1-800-333-DISH. Second half action coming up after these messages. Nice jump shot there by Carmelo Anthony, although by his standards he had a kind of a quiet first half with 6 points, but he did a lot of other things. He set some screens, he dished the ball, he was unselfish, and Jim Boeheim's got to feel good about leading by 5 with his leading score held to 6 points in the first half.
Well, he had his first game, and he didn't really play within the framework of the offense, but now he's very patient. Here's a pick, gets his partner, McNamara, the ability to knock shots down. Warwick gets free because they had doubled, the ball got reversed. Look at the step three, he's got great leg motions around the rim, but here's the double and the nice look down underneath by Forth. Didn't get the proper rotation down underneath, but you're right, the end of the half, couple of mistakes cost Missouri.
Missouri had the final shot, down by 2, they turned it over, committed a foul, turned it over again, so Syracuse leads by 5. You can see Syracuse didn't shoot the ball well from 3. They were out-rebounded as well, but Jerry McNamara had a very nice first half, 8 points, 3 assists, 3 steals, and Hakeem Warwick was tremendous. 12 points and 8 rebounds. Duane's 3 rattles out. Nobody with 3 fouls for either side as we move into the second half.
And right inside out of the timeout, maybe a little quick release by Johnson. Turnovers and rebound. Missouri's got to cut down the turnovers and bang the glass.
Well, McNamara gives him a spark, doesn't he?
And Forth wisely passes it up from that far.
They're pretty much not guarding Forth, as we found out twice when they left him alone right into the basket.
Nice block by Johnson.
And Clemens speeds the other way. Tough shot and a foul on Craig Forth. That will be his first.
Well, he really puts pressure on you, though. You're backpedaling, you're 7 feet tall, and now all of a sudden you've got the little guy coming at you, body searching, looking for your numbers. Nice delivery, too, with a chance for 3. Instead, the 2.
Well, another thing Jim Boeheim's got to be happy with at this point of the game, Forth has 1 foul, and McNeil has 1 foul.
And that was the dilemma against BC, and occasionally, as the season progressed, saw his bride Julie at halftime. Says the reason he's so relaxed is her.
She says that, or he says
no, she was there. He said, you know, he really enjoys this team. Said he's so upbeat about it, as we noted. And they're going to get better. I mean, he's always had good teams consistently, and this one, he's got room to improve.
Yeah, and with Edelin coming back Saturday, another element, another piece to the puzzle.
Nice tip by Forth. Didn't go.
Duane follows.
Kept it alive.
The Orangemen have won 10 in a row after an opening game loss to Memphis. They dismantled Georgia Tech in this building, and they have won at Seton Hall. They won a tough game here against BC, but this would be a real signature win for Syracuse if they could win it. And a tie up there, and the ball's going to stay with Missouri.
Well, we talked about rebound. This is a wonderful tip. It doesn't go by Forth, but just kept it alive and let his partner clean it up. And Missouri really having to rely on others to score now because of the zone. They're going to have to pry and get it in here. Good luck. Little kiss.
Johnson inside. Missouri would love to get Ricky Paulding going, averaging better than 18 points per game. He didn't have a field goal in the first half.
But I think the zone is forcing him a little deeper out. That's why I thought slipping him into the foul area, and I don't know who they give this on McKinney, I think, on the denial. Get him into the middle there instead of facing the hoop from deep. And this is the ability to find the proper guy. Nice looking bounce pass with the left hand away from traffic, and Johnson with a smooth touch with the kiss delivery.
Warwick very assertive in the first half. Fourth with a rebound and a putback.
Well, Johnson had opened up to see the shot. Nice slip to the 10 by Fourth.
Giving him some good minutes. He's now got 6. That ball might have hit a foot. I think that's what Quinn Snyder wants. He wants a kick ball, but instead Syracuse has it. Warwick inside. Fourth again.
How about him in the right spot? Oh. Now that's one of those passes that shouldn't have been made. Down in the lane, a wide open Missouri player, but the harassing of the pass caused the turnover.
You know, if you're 7 foot, 250 pounds, and you run the floor, the ball's going to find you every now and again, and Fourth has been opportunistic tonight. Anthony with the foul. This is the largest lead of the night for the Orangemen.
Yeah, Bryant had shaped up in the lane on that play you thought was a kick. They had him, but good defense on the perimeter.
And Paulding gets something going for the Tigers. Nice McKinney penetrates, hangs, and hits.
Well, that's what you have to do. Attack it like it's a man-to-man, and then if they squeeze you, find your partner.
You've got a feeling both of these teams are going to get better as the season goes along.
I do. And you know, one thing about Missouri, I love the way they guard, and they're tough inside, and they complement it with their fine perimeter play.
Fourth. Option number 1 right now.
I'll tell you what, now when he was recruited, Jim Boeheim was so excited about his ability. This is the best sequence I've seen from him. Solid play, little jump hook.
Earlier this season, battling a sore Achilles, Fourth really struggled and was booed at times here at the Carrier Dome. But not tonight. Trayvon Bryant, nice move inside.
Nothing worse than getting booed at home, and I certainly can relate.
From experience, as a player or a coach?
Both, as a father.
Fourth has matched his season high with 10 points. His career high is a dozen.
Now they didn't double, and he made them pay. That's the first time he's been alone without 2 dark jerseys.
Because now they have to play Fourth, the guy they were laying off at the beginning of the game.
There's a nice cut across by Johnson. See, now McNamara shouldn't have been over there. They didn't need him.
Clemens for 3.
He didn't react well at all. He had doubled the ball instead of looking for the next available man.
Well, both teams have really dialed it up a notch offensively here in the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Well, Edelin does give them a chance to rest McNamara, too. Nice denial on the wing. Nice give back.
Anthony, mid-range jumper, yes.
Oh, my goodness, the nylon. And Fourth with a good give back.
How many guys are there at this level who can score from the mid-range area, on the blocks, and from three-point range as well? He's one of the few.
Not too many. As a puppy, too. I mean, he's a baby.
Yeah, he's 18 years old. Queth Duaney. He's the senior, one of the leaders on this Syracuse team.
Look at this. Bernie Fine's got to be regaling. 2-on-1, go. Throw it up. Look at McNamara. What a great effort.
And Duaney with a hard foul. McNamara's not giving anything away. And behind the play, Warwick took a shot to the face. Fourth a little bit banged up as well, as the Tigers are getting physical with the Orangemen.
That is a terrific play by McNamara. I mean, he's outsized, outmatched physically, and yet the ability. Let's just see what happens in here. That's just an extended arm. Now that's, basketball kind of a foul. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Fourth was holding his neck as he was coming back down the floor as well. Fourth will come out. Duaney will come out. Big ovation for the big guy.
And it's interesting. He was tired prior to getting the hit. So it's a good approach by the bench informing Jim Boeheim to give him a blow. I would have made the jump shot if I wasn't tired. He probably said to the coach.
He is feeling it right now.
And it's only 5. They've had a nice run. Missouri right there.
You're right.
4 after he knocks this one down, Ricky.
Great atmosphere at the Carrier Dome tonight in a good game. Syracuse leading by 4. They're getting offense from somebody you would expect to do a lot of work offensively in Carmelo Anthony. They're also getting some serious offense from an unexpected source. Craig Forth, double figures. Welcome back to Syracuse. Up and down they go. The Orangemen and the Tigers. Syracuse right now leading by 4 early in the second half. Don't forget Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues with a Big 12 matchup. In-state rivalry, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. And don't forget at halftime, Texas Tech head coach Bob Knight will be live with Reese and Digger. The third game of the triple-header New Mexico led by Reuben Douglas taking on Colorado State. That's at midnight Eastern tonight. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN. That's the dynamic duo right now. Craig Forth and Carmelo Anthony.
Well, how about trio? Throw Jimmy in the boot. Pace with a nice play here. And a foul. What a nice setup after the timeout, don't you think?
Yeah, very nice.
Pace coming to his left hand, his dominant hand, and then the find. And just really everybody sort of locks bodies, and here you can see the great extension. Leads this club in dunks, a stat that passed me by in my play day.
33 dunks coming into the game tonight for Hakeem Warwick. So 3 dunks per game. And granted, against largely inferior competition, Missouri's a step up from most of the teams that Syracuse has played so far. But this guy is a real cover in the Big East. He is playing well.
You know, thinking about Knight, Andre Emmett, one of those guys a lot of people don't know about. Kasey Powell,
yes,
another outstanding performer for his Texas Tech team. Bruce Digger, I'm sure, will tap him for all that inside info.
Duaney has dropped down to the bottom now on that zone with Pace up top. Anthony on the bench right now for Syracuse. Clemens penetrates, loses the ball.
That's where you got to make a decision quicker or quickly as you enter in that domain. A lot of bodies are converging on you, and he's very clever. He was looking to pick it and give it up.
And typical fashion, when a guy on the floor makes a mistake, the guys on the bench pay the price from the coach.
Who else do you turn to?
Here's Pace, and you talked about it well. It's hard to define Josh Pace, what position he plays. He's just a player and a great 6th or 7th man at this level.
Roll, understands. How about this turnaround jumper and the elevation? He's looking down at the 10.
Warwick with 16 points and 8 rebounds.
Really backing the zone in a little bit now. Nice flash. That's a good job by Clemens. Maybe somebody a little taller to do it.
Wrong guy to flash. Clemens blocked by McNeil.
Hakeem the Dream. Just a little bounce, gets himself righted in traffic. Great elevation. And a nice arc and improvement beyond most. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely.
If he can keep this up, what level of play he can achieve.
Last year the thinking was he's got a chance to be as good as Damone Brown, who was a very good player here the last 4 years preceding Warwick. He's got a chance to be better than Damone Brown the way he's developing right now.
And he's in the development league, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
Damone Brown. But nice play by McNeil there, and he holds off too.
Nothing there. 1 on 3.
Nothing there. Good job. Nice screen. Bryant.
Johnson inside.
Tell you, they're thin, but they compete, don't they? The Cuse on the glass.
McNamara does a great job as the floor leader.
Pretty dish.
You can see why these guys are getting so many dunks, can't you?
Absolutely. The little guy gets everybody's attention. He's got that haircut from the 50s. Knows how to play and finds people.
Largest lead of the night for the Syracuse Orangemen, up by 10.
Well, Dan Shulman, the ability to push the ball and get in position. Drive, draw. Dick likes to say dish. We say kick. Get yourself set, and you got to contain the bounce. You can just see all the heads turn to the dribble and a little hesitation around the rim, and McNamara enjoyed it as much as those closeless wonders.
I hope they brought a little something extra before we go outside here tonight. It is chilly.
They will have running noses this evening. And McNamara is turning heads. with his ability to bounce it.
You know, love his confidence as well. Read an article in a recent interview he gave. He said, I didn't lose very much in high school. I don't plan to lose very much in college either.
I mean, this guy, over 2,000 points. I mean, he can fill it.
Quick, too. I mean, to get by Clemens on the bounce like that.
Well, you know, they have a lot of guys that don't look like they should, and they can.
Paulding, tough drive.
That's what they need. A little action. Going to the rim. And by that, McNamara doesn't look quick. Warwick doesn't look strong.
Right.
But yet they can get it done, and that's what the game's all about. It's not what you look like. It's what you can accomplish.
Paulding now with 7. They'll need more from him down the stretch.
Missouri's got to tee it up now. Good help by Johnson, only reached down. I think that's a little frustration when you're behind. All those guys turning at you. You get a little annoyed.
Tomorrow night, it's Super Tuesday, presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car on ESPN. And we've got a couple of great conference matchups for you. First, Mr. Raftery will be in West Lafayette to see the Boilermakers host Tom Izzo's Michigan State Spartans. Then the second game, number 16, Kentucky, taking on Vanderbilt. Keith Bogan's now a senior, averaging better than 17 points per game for the Wildcats. Don't forget also Jim Herrick, the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, will join ESPN for analysis of those games. And look out for Georgia. I mean, look out for the SEC. But Georgia now with Thomas back after they missed him for the first 7 games. The Hayes twins and Ezra Williams. I mean, they are legit. That Georgia-Florida game on the weekend, where Roberson won it with a 3 right at the end of the game. Those are 2 outstanding teams.
And Walsh didn't play badly down the stretch either. But you mentioned Purdue, you know, Brandon McKnight. We talked about Dean before. Booker's really talented guy. Kenneth Lowe. You know they can guard. Kilgore is a guy that can shoot it and put it on the floor.
Young back in for Johnson. Arthur Johnson sits down with his 3rd foul. Duane makes them both. Young, by the way, we mentioned, from Jamaica, 6'9", 270. When he showed up at school, he was 6'9", 330. He has lost 60 pounds.
Nice entry pass.
Bryant, the lefty.
To a guy that lost 57.
That's right.
And they went on a chicken and noodles kick. I could relate to that. There's a lot of hard work goes into that. Free-flowing offense, a lot of screening away.
McNeil in, 4th on the bench right now.
Looking at that high dribble now. Got to be careful in traffic with that.
He wants it, but they sniffed it out.
And they felt the cues that he got scraped. And they had good penetration the last trip. See if they can get into that. Settling again.
McKinney misses the 3. Rebound Pace.
And this is what you said. Pace does a lot of things. Can handle it. Play off the ball.
Duane. Got it.
The early push. Kraft gets the puppy set.
And the 5th assist of the night for Jerry McNamara. Largest lead of the night for the Orangemen.
They needed a silencer, and it's not a jump shot. Go to the rim. Mizzou. McNamara drags, and look at the footsteps. Excellent. He feels he got hit again. Jimmy Boeheim as well.
When's the last time you saw a player improve this much from one year to the next?
See, this is that area where should I call a timeout or wait for the TV timeout? To answer you, it's an incredible step forward by him. Pretty, and they get one there. That's good job. Good composure. And Quinn rolled the dice and certainly got an effective release there.
Well, troubles are brewing right now for the Tigers, who are down to 13. Duane, though, just picked up his 4th foul, so that's a note of concern for the Orangemen.
That hurts him. It's Tony Harvey over there, Lane Odom, Dave's son, also an assistant. Marcus Perez with Missouri. They will be a factor in the Big 12. Tough road game. What do you think of it? Good, tough atmosphere, I think, on the road for Missouri. A lot to be had in a game like this. Now you find out a little bit about how you can reach back in a difficult environment.
And both teams played on Saturday too, so also if you're Missouri, you're playing at night, you're traveling, you got one day, and you're almost simulating a tournament, an NCAA tournament environment.
You know who does a lot of that? Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah. Well, he was telling us before the Georgetown game on Wednesday why he scheduled teams like Butler this year.
I understand that. It's a great thought.
Mid-majors, a lot of juniors and seniors, the kind of team that can really give schools problem in the tournament. Look at Warwick.
Look at him going, and that's the third time. I think he got hit. The other two didn't get the call. This time he does. But a lot of what Mike was saying, you play them that second game on a weekend.
Right. Kind of team you might face in the second round of the tournament. Scheduling for the future, not just for now, to learn something about your team, and that's what Quinn Snyder's trying to do here.
Quinn's got it going. New building coming in, what, another year or so?
Yep.
Notice he's got a foundation, much like a lot of these coaches who have been accomplished to give something back to the university. Jimmy does, Mike does.
Look at those numbers for Hakeem Warwick.
Nice hustle. Anthony.
Boy, he can do a lot of things.
The ability and strength. Nice combo. They went the wrong way. Had Warwick at the other box.
Bryant forces the turnover for the Tigers. Clemens, a quick three.
That's what he does best. He freezes you. He can get him right back in it. You can't relax.
Ricky Clemens now with 18 points on the night. That's his fourth three-pointer of the game.
Well, this team has a ticker. They will not pack the tack. Here comes the double a little late.
15-footer, and Warwick now maybe going to the well once too often.
And they got McKinney in the front here.
Syracuse recovers quickly. Clemens open, though.
Nice follow.
Bryant missed it. Johnson draws the foul.
Tell you, the activity around the rim, I mean, high-level play, impressive defensive maneuver, but the stick-to-itiveness, excellent by Missouri. You better tighten the laces right around the rim here, Dan Shulman. I think you did the right thing, Dan. You studied.
Now we got a timeout on the floor with a 9.5 to go. Bill talked about it. Missouri with a ticker right now, getting back into it. And they're going to go to the line after this 30-second timeout. A couple of minutes ago, they were waiting for the TV timeout to make some subs, and we still haven't had the under 12 timeout. Well, as mentioned, this is the 5th time Syracuse and Missouri have met. The first time back in 1988 in the semis of the preseason NIT. Doug Smith got it going late, sending the game into overtime for Norm Stewart. But look at this, Sherman Douglas, Stevie Thompson, and the Orangemen win in overtime 86-84.
Same suit, Boeheim has on. Norm Stewart.
You know, he's always so complimentary of you. Why do you have to give him some
shit? These people you like. You can see 3-1 twice in the NCAA. Norm, one of the class acts. Great to see or hear today that he's in good health and enjoying retirement. Great success story at Missouri.
The Big Orange getting them riled up. Over the Carrier Dome, Syracuse looking for, I think, what would have to be considered its most significant win of the season today. Now, we've got some free throws coming for Arthur Johnson, and I think maybe we've got a substitution.
Well, you know what? Bryant was in, and he had been late from the bench. They thought maybe he'd come in from the sideline.
Can't change on the fly in this game. Huh?
Exactly. Well, that game that you know so well, you can. But, you know, John Clark, back from that back injury, he couldn't go to Maui to start the preseason. So Bob Donato, who's working the game as well, told Tim Kelly, who was going on his honeymoon, who's a referee, he was going on his honeymoon. He said, you know, bring your stuff to Maui.
Oh, really?
You never know. So who shows up? John, just before the tournament started, couldn't work because of his injury. All of a sudden, Tim Kelly shows up. He referees the tournament, and his wife hasn't spoken to him since.
Happy honeymoon, Tim.
I love you, dear.
John's feeling better now to make it to Syracuse, though. 7-point game, Orangemen in the lead. With Bill Raftery, Dan Shulman back here in Syracuse. Quinn Snyder, Missouri coach, told us he's going to try to make somebody else beat them tonight. Take the ball out of the hands of Carmelo Anthony. Hakeem Warwick is happy to be that other guy.
Well, Dan, the man right now, on cue, his drive, draw, block shot, step through, likes to turn to the left shoulder. But we've seen him turn to the right as well. I mean, he's got a whole game. Here's the fake back. And you've got to stay on that left shoulder when he turns his back to you. Outstanding performance, and you mentioned the improvement, the ability in traffic to dribble, to come up with good shots. His selection's extraordinary.
Those 17 field goal attempts for Warwick are already a career high, and there's still better than 9 minutes to go in this game. Syracuse with a legitimate 4 scoring options, really, and now tonight, option number 5, Craig Forth, has 10 points.
Now, used a little clock, and they didn't double the last few times on Anthony. 10 left.
One-on-one with Paulding. Long jumper, air ball. Here come the Tigers. They have closed to within 7.
And Clemens with good pay. Don't leave the ball with this guy.
Paulding with a rebound, looking for space.
Nobody there. Oh, not a good look by McNamara. Too much traffic.
Clemens pushing.
Pretty.
And the lay-in inside, and it's down to 5.
You know, fatigue. The last couple of trips now, Syracuse, the big guys have not gotten back down the floor.
8-0 run right now for Missouri.
Side pick and roll.
They hit this once before tonight. McNamara misses the shot. You can sense the nervousness in the crowd right now. A little murmuring as Paulding goes strong to the bucket. No call. And then on the weak side, we do have a call.
Danny, you see the numbers, Dan? I mean, just attacking all the dark shirts, but here, the ability to get down early, get your big guy located, let him finish. Just outstanding push by Clemens. And again, Syracuse tardy, not responding. And another trip, they got back a little bit late. And right now, Kroenke able to go to the foul line because he got the follow.
Yeah, McNamara is a real gambler for that basketball, getting into the passing lanes and also just trying to pickpocket Clemens there in transition. It's great when he takes it away, but when he doesn't, they're kind of a man short.
Well, also he's fortunate it is the zone, so there are some bodies available, but it also does put pressure on the inside people.
Fourth back in.
It came at 22. You mentioned the 4 fouls before.
Kroenke, a starter in the first 7 games of the season until Jimmy McKinney took over. And now McKinney's going to come in and Kroenke will go out.
Now McKinney really a talent. Just love watching him get ready for this game. So many things he can do. Gets in the lane. He thinks offense is a note I wrote from, and not afraid. Strength and body control plus range.
Big guy looking for help.
Good denial.
McNamara wide open.
How about that? Don't leave that guy alone. A modest range jumper for him. Good patience by Fourth.
McNamara, just a freshman, wants the ball at crunch time. You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah, good job.
McKinney blows by Warwick. Floater, no. Loose ball, Duaney. Numbers. The lob.
Nice play defensively by Clemens.
Look at Clemens. Boy, has he got jets.
And I'll tell you what, he doesn't get tired. Nice piece by the big fella, huh?
Anthony with a block of a 3-point attempt in transition. How often do you see that?
He's got some amazing ability. Great reaction time. High five, I call this. Dive to the rim. Look at this pass. Oh! Took the hit and almost brought the ceiling down.
You got that right.
Well, he is not Akeem the Dream, but we're going to borrow it. And the dream with the penetration was McNamara. He had a couple options. He had Anthony, but look at him bring it. You mentioned the ability to dunk. Plus 30. This would have been what, 35?
At 33 dunks coming into the game. You know, thinking back again in November, Jim Boeheim said early, before their first game, this is the best offensive team he thinks he has had in about 10 years. And he knew then that Warwick had improved, that McNamara was a real player, that Edelin was coming, and that Anthony just might be the best freshman in America. This team can score.
Now, you know Jimmy doesn't throw superlatives around. He has really stepped his game up. Lewis Orr body, we said that about Damone Brown.
Yep.
And Lewis Orr, Seton Hall coach, but longtime pro as well.
Quinn Snyder's team needs another spark. They are down 8 right now. No shortage of sparks for the Orangemen. Ricky Clemens with a big 3 there as Missouri made a bit of a run, but now Syracuse's lead is back to 8. And as we mentioned going into the break, Syracuse with so many different options offensively right now, all 5 Orangemen starters are in double figures, led by Hakeem Warwick, who has 19. I mean, Jim Boeheim's got to sleep pretty well at night knowing that anybody can put the ball in the basket.
I think a very confident group of offensive people. But right now, Missouri can't get a consistent rhythm. This time they pick out top to let Clemens turn the corner. Nice flash.
That's what you've been looking for all night. But McNamara takes it away from Johnson.
I don't know if it should be Johnson, though. That's the difficulty. You know, you got traffic. You don't want him putting it on the floor. He's got to turn and kick.
Nearly a turnover. They've got to respect McNamara's shot. They also have to respect his ability to penetrate.
Trying to get flat on this little pick and pop. He can break you down. This is what makes him tough.
Got a size advantage on Paulding.
Agility and strength.
The big guy. McNamara for three.
The little guy. We sound like Johnny Most.
That's right.
God bless him.
Mustache.
And they get it going the other way. Johnson tries to load up. Fourth holding his head again. He must have taken a hit there in that first half because he had the same problem. Well, you don't want to call this Syracuse team McNamara's band, but this Murray band of Cuse people, that little extra pass, the little slide, the space out by McNamara presents the passing lane.
Anthony for three.
Boy, they can really burn you. Quinn with the quick timeout. They can score in bunches. But when you got talent, you play within yourself. That's what Anthony has done. He didn't have the opportunities to decimate the defense of Missouri, but smooth, willing to sacrifice, willing to contribute in any way he can.
Now 13 points for Carmelo Anthony, 19 for Warwick, 14 for McNamara, and 10 for both Duaney and Forth. And the student body loves every second of it here tonight in the Carrier Dome. More great Big Monday action presented by Bud Light. Tonight, here on ESPN, Big 12 matchup, number 5 Oklahoma. How about Hollis Price and 33 points against UConn last week, taking on the number 24 Oklahoma State. Bob Knight, head coach of Texas Tech, live at halftime of that game with Reese Davis and Digger Phelps. Late game tonight, Ruben Douglas in New Mexico against Colorado State.
How about this, huh? The ability to make outside jumpers, the man at the helm all night has been McNamara finding people. This time Anthony with a deep nylon delivery.
Clemens looking inside for Young.
That's a good thrust off the timeout. Clemens broke the D with the dribble. You always want your club to understand what you're communicating in that timeout.
Ricky Paulding now into double figures with 11. Well, when McNamara's on the floor, they just seem in control. It'll be fascinating to watch how Jim Boeheim splits up the point guard spot when Billy Edelin returns on Saturday against Pittsburgh.
I think they'll do it slowly. Just take your time, let guys feel their way, get them in shape. Edelin.
I mean, McNamara's just in charge out there, isn't he?
And he got steps here. Jump stop and then move the front foot.
Again, it's a big week for Syracuse. There's Edelin, who's coming back Saturday at Pittsburgh. And again, you can see on ESPN Saturday afternoon. If you did not see Pittsburgh's win over Notre Dame last week, those Panthers are deep and they are tough. They are going to beat you up physically.
And also against Rutgers, they turned it over, I think, 24 times. Ben Howland, they guard and step out of bounds here. They guard so well. And you noted to me today, they're not terribly big, but they're broad and strong, and they know where to get the basketball. And Brandon Knight, one of the premier point guards, to run the show.
Did a great defensive job against Chris Thomas. Ontario led, who earned a start against Notre Dame, had an outstanding game, and at 6'6", 265, a center. He was the co-player of the week in the Big East. He's got a lot of skill.
He sure does, and his body, great trimmed down. I think he's a solid guy now. Can bowl people around a little bit.
Looks like it's going to be a very interesting year. We talked about the Big 12 earlier, but in the Big East as well, with Connecticut, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, a good Georgetown team, and this Syracuse club as well. Shot clock into single digits. McNamara sees it. Puts it up. Fourth again.
And they got a chance to run some clock. Great play by Warwick. He's done everything else right. Why not continue?
Double-double now for Warwick with 19 points and 10 rebounds. His second in a row at 24 and 15 against Boston College on Saturday.
And McNamara a little bit fatigued on that last delivery, and Clemens denying him the ball. This guy's going to have to make the decision, and why not? Pretty clever, Anthony.
Yeah, good decisions here. Again, the clock is their ally right now.
Looking for the high pick and roll. Let's see if they blitz it. They do. Force Forth to make a decision.
He puts it up in a block by Bryant, puts it up again, but it will be Missouri ball after a timeout with 3:43 to play. They've still got some time. Can the Tigers make a run?
Good coaching there, the blitz. You got to do it on the defensive end and get the ball inside, get to the free throw line.
All right, guys, we got a great free throw shooter in this game. He hasn't been to the line yet tonight, but McNamara, in addition to everything else he's done, he's hit 30 consecutive free throws. Just a freshman, part of this great freshman class for Jim Boeheim, along with Carmelo Anthony. The two of them have combined to score better than 46% of Syracuse's points in that sophomore class is led by Hakeem Warwick. The future is bright for the Orangemen.
It sure is. All he does is win. Jimmy B, 25 postseason, 21 NCAAs, two Final Twos.
87 and 96. Arthur Johnson playing with 4 fouls for Missouri. Queth Duaney playing with 4 for Syracuse.
Nice hands by Anthony. The difficulty against the zone now is you take some time. You can't really get quick hitters against the zone, and time is certainly important for Missouri.
Aren't you impressed with Anthony? Even though he hasn't had a lot of opportunities tonight, he hasn't let that affect the other parts of his game.
He's very polished for his age.
McKinney, a great look, but it's not there.
I got to extend the floor a little bit now. See if we can force a quick hit or a turnover. Good pressure on the dribble. Deny the next pass. Good job.
Turnover. McKinney 1-on-2. Tough shot and an offensive foul. Mistake by Jimmy McKinney.
That's when you got to use your left hand. Like cross it over, go to the left, and get to the rim. Stepping up the lane, offering it up. Duaney. Right here, you can just see, got to keep the dribble alive, get over to the left, you get a little baby hook going, avoid the charge. This is just not a decision that he will make eventually. He's too smart, too good, talented performer, but all under the gun and on the road.
Duaney takes the charge, takes the hit, and bounces back up into the play as McKinney and Johnson have both come out.
Looking for a little more pressure and speed and fresh bodies.
They trap the ball as well. Oh, they had him under the basket.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, had Duaney wide open.
Nice. Now he's open. You're expecting Forth to be the decision maker now, too, huh? Oh.
Kroenke, the king of the hard foul as well. You're not getting anything easy with Kroenke.
Well, here's who you notice with your astute Bob Cousy peripheral vision. And right there, the giveaway. You're right, Kroenke. Make sure you get it. He gets his money's worth. They pound the flesh. Like you don't want him to get the deuce. It's a hard, smart play.
Explaining to Jim Burr, just trying to do his job. Forth can match his career high if he can knock down a couple of free throws.
Don't you get the feeling Jim Burr would give hard fouls if he were a player?
Yeah, you're right.
Who's he kidding?
Yeah. Johnson back in. Double-double for him, 15 and 10. Paulding is the guy who's really been kind of quiet tonight for Missouri. But again, you attribute a lot of that to the Syracuse defense.
It's just, not that it's mind-boggling, but it wears on you. You just can't do the same thing each trip. You got to come up with wrinkles.
Paulding for 3.
Nice rebound.
Trayvon Bryant, but he lost it. And Johnson just throws the ball up in the air and draws the foul on somebody.
I think Forth. I'm not sure. I thought it was Forth. We'll see. Maybe Warwick. Yeah, Warwick that time. They're both in the mix.
Tomorrow night, Super Tuesday, presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. Big Ten matchup between Michigan State and Purdue. Another great freshman in that game, Paul Davis, a big man for the Spartans. And then Kentucky takes on Vanderbilt in the late game at 9 Eastern. Vandy shocked Alabama by a point. Although, as we all know, winning on the road in conference, maybe there shouldn't be any such thing as a shock or an upset in conference play.
Great league. Just an absolutely great league. Vandy will give them a run. Kentucky, they shoot the ball. They can guard. They shoot. They are a different basketball team.
Well, you've seen some impressive performances. Kentucky winning at North Carolina handily earlier, but then Louisville beat them by 18 at Freedom Hall. So like with every other team, so many ups and downs and so much parity in the college game.
The wacky world, huh? Trying to give the foul. That time Clemens gets it. Stretch the game. Well, I think you've got to come in and play poise, understand what you can do. And you can see Clemens just trying to make sure McNamara doesn't turn the corner and bring it up the other end.
And now McNamara is going to try to extend that streak we mentioned a little bit earlier. 30 consecutive free throws. The single season record for Syracuse. Mike Lee, as you can see, 34.
You remember years? It's you. He did it.
Such a build-up, kiddo.
Jerry and Schulman. But remember years ago, Syracuse had the rep of not being a good free throw shooting team. And guys like McNamara are going to ruin that image.
Well, you know, when Clemens takes a shot, floater, jumper, doesn't matter. His feet have a little extra kick in them right at the end of his motion. It's great. Down to 9.
He's a pleasure to watch. Really runs his club and yet can beat you with his ability. Now, you're not going to foul now. You made that decision, so don't give it away. Good, solid trip defensively.
Kroenke limping just a little bit. He's got a couple of bad knees.
High-low. Forget it.
Yeah, 6'8" against 6 foot. How did Clemens get matched up on Anthony?
And a 7-footer with an entry pass, so you can't deter the vision.
In addition to 11 points, Craig Forth has 4 assists in this game. Clemens with another long-range 3.
And a timeout. I believe that's the last one, but his Valentine keeps perking. You mentioned a little kick after the jump shot. Solid performance, but right here you can just see this develop. You seal your man. You want the pass going towards the rim. Just turn. Look at the size discrepancy. The power, little kiss at the end. I mean, that's just taking advantage of what God's given you. You just see the size up there. No hands up, incidentally, by Johnson. You've got to really harass that pass. Don't let it get there initially. Once he gets it, make sure you deny it.
And as you say, the Tigers have just taken their last time out, down 8. A minute and a half to go. So many times when a team doesn't play a lot of big-time games early, they get to this point of the season with everybody still wondering, are they any good? Are they for real? Tell us about what you think of the Orangemen tonight.
Your game in the Garden, I thought they were for real. Now, they
against
lost.
Memphis, first game, yeah.
And I thought Memphis played great, but I thought Anthony got away from what they were trying to do. And Jimmy's great at getting that free-flowing, particularly against man-to-man offense. And I knew when they got him home, and he understood he was going to get it back, be able to beat people, that they would improve. The zone is frustrating, too. I mean, they just take advantage of your psyche and really make it tough. Missouri,
one ranked opponent before tonight. That was Illinois, and they lost that game. We told you that Syracuse has that big game at Pittsburgh coming up Saturday on ESPN. Here's what the Tigers have coming up, and there are no easy ones in the Big 12. How about that game at Texas looming in a couple of weeks?
Oh, every week down there, huh? Unbelievable. Oklahoma State, great defensive team. Iowa State just a little bit off of their game. They go deep. They run 2 up and 1 deep. It really pressures your defense, and they didn't want to wait that time.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State coming up minutes from now here on ESPN in the second game of the Big Monday triple header presented by Bud Light. New Mexico, Colorado State at midnight Eastern time. The Orangemen will have to put it away at the line. They're 68% as a team. Anthony is at 72%.
Yeah, they're going to make this game stretch it, force you to make the free throws, see if you can come up with some steals, and they're within hailing distance here. And the way they shoot deep and get in the lane, they can be creative. 127 an eternity when you're ahead.
Especially the way Clemens is shooting the ball tonight. He's got 5 threes and 23 points.
And they're going to guard the 3 a lot harder. No, not a foul. You want to commit. You just help the club stopping the clock.
Look at Jim Boeheim.
You know what? That was quick. That was for the ref.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting when kids say "my fault," and you go, "I know it was your fault." You don't have to tell me, but that sort of clears the conscience somewhat.
So the clock stops, and Johnson goes to the line.
Got to make them.
2 shots the rest of the way for the Orangemen when Missouri commits the next foul.
He only shoots around 54%, so a dilemma come the end of the games. And in conference play, a lot of close encounters.
Another nice thing here for Syracuse, multiple ball handlers. Anthony can do it, Duane can do it. Warwick's a finisher, no doubt about that.
That was George McGinnis-like. The way he palmed the ball and released it. He's showing us the whole package tonight. And your point about the perimeter people, that's what makes them extraordinary. They can drag a guy away. They can create mismatches because they can blow by people. And they also, as we saw, can slide people to the post as they did Anthony.
his last 2 games, Boston College Saturday and this game here tonight, has 44 points and 25 rebounds. The only blemish tonight really has been the free throw shooting.
And their best offensive rebound. They had 41 coming into this game. Length.
Good save by Johnson. Gonna have to rumble back into the play now.
I say they're really up on the line, forcing them to shoot the generally the 2-point shot.
Anthony a load on the glass too.
I tell you, this crowd had a great response. The students here, we have seen larger, but maybe not as vocal, Dan.
18,756. Just about every other school in the country would take that, hands down. But you're right, the students have been on their feet really since the beginning of the game. They have enjoyed this game tonight, realizing what a test Missouri was going to provide.
Now they were going to try and run it down and end up stepping on the sideline. Quinn trying to get a good shot. You're doing this for the rest of the year now. Got his guys in the right spot, looking for a pick. Clemens, how about this?
I guess that's a good shot.
Well, he had the option of going either way. They had set up a pick on either side, and that should do it. Solid performance. The zone, stymieing Missouri.
The Orangemen still unranked, but now 11-1. They've set themselves up for a huge game Saturday afternoon in Pittsburgh on ESPN. Big win for Syracuse, 76-69 over Missouri. All 5 starters in double figures. Hakeem Warwick with 20 and 10. Jerry McNamara doing it all from the point. And some of the students on the floor here as the Orangemen pick up a win over Missouri. Again, the final score 76-69 Syracuse. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Bill Raftery and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dan Schulman. Thanks for watching. Now back to the studio with Reese Davis.